Major moves. We going all in, like we got nothing to lose. We making moves. We making major moves. We making moves. We making major moves. We making moves. We making
Warning, I'm not a financial advisor. Don't blame me or any other random person that gives you some money tips for any of your financial decisions. I provide information based on research that may guide you to taking a deeper look at a particular company. However, in no way am I suggesting to invest or not invest in that company. Your decisions are that of your own. I present information that is readily available on the internet, and I piece together the story to create and provide a more holistic concept to create a bigger picture. This information is for educational purposes only. Ultimately, I'm a guy in a Spider-Man mask, and you should not take financial advice or information from me. Thank you guys for coming to my channel. Welcome back, welcome back. Today's video will be fire. I'm going to go into the term G-SIBS and what G-SIBs are all about. I first heard the term from Jim Rickards, and then I heard it next from Brad Garlinghouse, and that term stuck with me. I also heard the term G-SIFI, but before I get into that, today's an especially hard day for me. Since last night to this morning, Central Time, my dog was having a hard time breathing. Couldn't catch her breath, just continuously panting, hardcore panting, and wanted water, not able to settle. And through the night itself, it felt like she would stop breathing for a point. She was 15 years old, Pomeranian. She was my world. I had her since she was 8 weeks. This is her right here. This is my little girl. Her name is Sky. Her blanket. And this is her monkey. She loved to hump and fuck. And that shit made me laugh. Anyways, I just want to take that time to fill you guys in on my life. This is an open channel where we can all communicate with each other. If you've lost a pet, if you lost a loved one, if you lost something that you hold dear to you, by all means put it in the comments. Do be open with it. Don't be afraid to share. You know, we can all be here to help each other grow and learn from the experience and continue going on from there. Anyways, the video we have here is Jim Rickards talking about ICE-9. This is an interview. The interview itself, to me, seems staged and like he's reading something or reading off something from memory. It doesn't seem like it's like it flows like a real conversation. It seems like he's telling a story of some sort. I'll let you be the judge of that. That's neither here nor there. But in this conversation, he speaks to the term G-SIB, Global Systemic Institutional Bank, and I'll let him talk to it, and then we'll jump back into it. Here you go.
Long ago in New York City, we met at a place called Oriole, which is in Midtown. My dinner companion that night was a senior advisor to BlackRock. As you may know, BlackRock is now the largest asset manager on the planet. It directly manages $5 trillion in assets, and it oversees another $11 trillion through its Aladdin platform. That means one firm controls more money than the GDPs of China, Russia, and Japan combined. Anyway, my dinner companion happens to work directly for BlackRock's CEO. As we nursed our white wine and the evening wore on, she let something slip. If I remember her words, she said something like, "They want to tell us we can't sell." What was she talking about? Who was she talking about? These elites share one vision, and they're about to make it a reality. That vision is one world order, one world taxation, and one world money. They've worked for years behind the scenes preparing to realize that vision. They've literally rigged the laws of international finance. Everything is basically in place right now, and there's essentially no way to stop this from happening. When the crisis hits, they'll flip the switch, freezing the global financial system. That will give them time to reset the world economy according to their vision.
What did these elites want from your contact at BlackRock?
Basically, they want to classify BlackRock as too big to fail. The technical term is Systemically Important Financial Institution, or SIFI. That designation normally applies to banks, such as Bank of America. If your bank gets the SIFI label, it means the government will bail you out first in a crisis. but it also means you must turn over control of your bank until the crisis subsides. In this case, they're trying to reclassify BlackRock, an asset manager, as too big to fail. If they succeed, they'll be able to freeze BlackRock when the crisis hits. BlackRock clients won't be able to sell. They won't be able to buy either. Their accounts will go dark indefinitely, and the elite operatives will take control of BlackRock's assets remotely via the internet. But our research shows that their ICE-9 plan goes much, much deeper.
All right.
I was having dinner with a friend not
Yes,
long
you
ago.
were. You were having dinner with a friend. All right. So here we are on the FSB website, the Financial Stability Board website. And they're using the term here, Global Systemically Important Financial Institution, or G-SIFI, as Jim Rickard had stated. What it states here, the FSB, in consultation with the Basel Committee on Banking Supervision, that's the BIS, and national authorities, has identified global systemically important banks, or G-SIBs, since 2011. The list of G-SIBs is divided into buckets corresponding to required level of additional loss absorbency. The list of G-SIBs is updated annually each November. So that being said, could we see that in 2024 that gets updated, 2025 that gets updated to include another potential entity that we are aware of? I like to call them Ripple. They have now opened up, not now, I guess since 2020, have applied for a license out in Idaho there. I'd like to believe it's going to be a bank. Things are pointing to becoming a bank, but that's just my speculation. Where are we? Together with information on the application of policy measures to G-SIBs under the integrated set of policy measures to address the systemic and moral hazard risk associated with systemically important financial institutions, that was published 2011. BCBS publishes the methodology for assessing and identifying G-SIBs. Let's see what that has to... Actually, no, let's just... Now that you understand what G-SIBs are and G-SIFIs, here we go. This article right here. What happens when a bank drops off the systemic risk radar, or the G-SIBs that we were talking about? Russia's Sberbank skipped this year's G-SIBs assessment, but just because a bank is invisible doesn't mean it no longer poses a risk. This came out December 7th, 2022. If a bank falls and nobody's around to hear, does global systemic risk rise? You better have them believe it does. For the first time in 10 years, Russia's largest lender, Sber, didn't take part in the latest assessment of globally systemic important banks, or G-SIBs, or publish relevant indicators for the end of 2021. It's not clear whether the Basel Committee of Banking Supervision internationally excluded the bank from the assessment, or whether the bank and its supervisor failed to provide the data, as ostensibly allowed by Kremlin decrees following Western sanctions across the county. Regardless, it deprives regulators, academics, analysts, and journalists of the most granular and reliable data publicly available to a bank, which means they are dark right now and you don't know what's going on. But, Sberbank, right here, that came out December 7th, I said. This is December 28th, 2022 of last year. Sberbank launches gold-backed digital security. So did they do this under the guise of falling off the record there and not letting anybody know? They did this secretly. Why? Why did Russia do this secretly? Anything? You guys have any guesses on why they would do that? If so, put that down in the comments below. Russian bank Sber aimed to decree the dominance of the US dollar with its new digital currency, which is backed by the real gold value. The real gold value. I have seen an article where Sberbank's digital currency here that they're going to be using is XLM. Other than that article I had seen, haven't seen that by many other sources yet. I want to say it's confirmed, but it's just the one source I had seen. If I can find a couple others, then I would feel more confident in that. Sberbank is one of the largest Russian banks, which is known for its multiple development works related to cryptocurrency and blockchain technology use case. The service of these banks are available in multiple countries, but in the last 5 to 6 months, it faced significant restrictions as part of the Russian versus Ukraine conflict, which initially started late February. Yeah, okay, that conflict. Yeah. Recently, Sberbank announced the launch of its first issue of gold-backed DFA's digital financial assets. Solver, a seller and manufacturer of diverse metal, became the first to get the issues of gold-backed digital assets. The value of gold-backed DFAs will depend upon the actual price of gold. And if you remember, maybe you don't remember, but just to give you, I guess, a backdated history now, in my first video I had posted on YouTube, let's go there. I'll show you which one it is. There's my channel. On this one here, this one here, is XRP backed by gold. This takes into account the Bank of International Settlement policy frameworks given to them on recommended levels, or high level recommendations, from the FSB, from the, I guess the term is ISSB, International Standard Settings Body, and they had come up with framework for this already. Check out that video. I highly recommend that you check this one out here. Is XRP backed by gold? That could be an answer we're looking for. Might not be an answer we're looking for, but it gives us a direction to go. This is still hard because as I go through this with you guys, I am finding myself having a difficult time finding coping mechanisms to deal with the death that has happened today. I'm doing my best to keep my composure. Today was very, very hard. I don't know how many times I broke down. I handled it pretty well. I want to say I'm handling it pretty well right now still, but let's keep going. So, G-SIB scores. The negative externalities associated with institutions that are perceived as not being allowed to fail due to their size, interconnectedness, complexity, lack of substitutability, or global score as well recognized. Holy hell, that was tough. In maximizing their private benefits, individual financial institutions may rationally choose outcomes that on a system-wide level are suboptimal because they do not take into account these externalities. Moreover, the moral hazard costs associated with implicit guarantees derived from the perceived expectation of government support may amplify risk-taking, reduce market discipline, and create competitive distortion, and further increase the probability of distress in the future. As a result, the cost associated with moral hazard add to any direct cost to support that may be borne by taxpayers. We're going to feel that. All right, so we're going to feel that. In addition, given the potential cross-border repercussions of a problem in any of the global systemic important banks, when we just saw that Sberbank is not there anymore, and Credit Suisse is on there, they are having issues, and you heard what might happen with BlackRock should that happen here. And the financial institution in many countries and the global economy at large, this is not uniquely a problem for national authorities though, and therefore requires a global minimum agreement. I wonder what this global minimum agreement is going to look like and who is going to lead this global minimum agreement. I did have a video the other day where it talks about the banks within a particular reach. I'll jump back there again to my page. Where is it? This is it here. That is this video right here. Ripple runs the show. That'll give you a nice insight into how Ripple, I'm going to say, takes leadership into how these banks are going to operate and the obligations that they must adhere to since they signed on. to capitalize on the RippleNet and the ODL and potentially XRP, should they choose to utilize that bridge currency. Where am I? I honestly have no idea what I read last. Okay. This looks familiar, but I'm going to go ahead here. The idea is that the international impact of a bank's distress or failure would vary in line with its share of cross-jurisdictional assets and liability. The greater a bank's global reach, the more difficult it is to coordinate its resolution, and the more widespread the spillover effects from its failure. So you heard Jim Rickards there talking about the G-SIB or the G-SIFI as well, being considered as BlackRock, too big to fail. BlackRock is in everything. BlackRock is in every fucking thing, not just banks. From Coca-Cola to Facebook to Vanguard to what's that ship one there? I can't even think of their name. To Pepsi to Heinz to you name it, BlackRock is in it. If they happen to take over BlackRock and BlackRock begins to fall, everything will feel that. Everything will feel that. A bank's distress or failure is more likely to damage the global economy or financial markets of its activities comprise a large share of global activity. The larger the bank, the more difficult it is for its activities to be quickly replaced by other banks, and therefore the greater the chance that its distress or failure would cause disruption to the financial markets in which it operates. That's our markets. That's what we're living through right now. The distress or failure of a large bank is almost more likely to damage confidence in the financial system as a whole. Size is therefore a key measure of systemic importance. One indicator is used to measure size. The measure of total exposure used is the Basel III leverage ratio, including exposures arising from insurance subsidiaries. Holy heck. So here we go. Indicator and category scores. To calculate the score of a given indicator, the bank's reported value for the indicator is divided by the corresponding sample total, and the resulting value is then expressed in a basis point or a BPS, kind of like a percentage, but they just say a basis point. So here's the example they give. The bank indicators being read in the euro dollars out in the UK there. Sample total time multiply by 1,000 equals the indicated score or value for that. To calculate scores for the 5 categories, the scores for the indicator that fall within each category are averaged. For example, the complexity category score is the average of the 3 complexity indicator score, OTC derivatives, trading, and AFS securities, and level 3 assets. I don't have the information on level 3 assets. If any of you guys know what that is, by all means, please comment down below. Let me know, let the community know. The more we can get this out there, we can begin to put together a more well-rounded view of what is actually going on here and what these terms mean. Since the size category consists of one indicator, the category score is simply the score for the total exposures indicator. Also, the substitutability financial institution infrastructure category score is subject to a 500 BPS cap. So here's the FSB website. I pulled up the information right here. There's a PDF on this page. Let's get that PDF. So here we go. Here's their buckets. My partner just coming down there. I would love to show you guys. Do you want to come on today and show them who you are? No? Not at all? Okay. I tried. She's beautiful. You just have to believe me with that. G-SIBs as of November. Remember I told you there's a list they update every November. G-SIBs as of November 2022 allocated to buckets corresponding to required levels of additional capital buffers. Here's the buckets and the ratios or percentages, if you will. And the number of G-SIBs within this bucket, number 5 here, are 3.5 5% is empty. Nothing is there. Number 4, at 2.5, you have JP Morgan. Number 3, they begin to get bigger. Bank of America, Citigroup, HSB. Number 2 bucket, Bank of China, Barclays, BNP, Deutsche Bank, Goldman Sachs, International Industrial and Commerce Bank of China, Mitsubishi, MUFG, and then the 1% there. Look at this. Look at that. Huge. A lot of Chinese groups up in this joint. All right. Let's jump over to, I think it's 11 here. So the bucket approach is defined in paragraph SCO. We could go there if we wanted to, but no need to. Of the Basel framework, the numbers of parentheses are the required level of additional common equity loss absorbency as a percentage of risk-weighted assets. A risk-weighted asset is something that's tangible. It is a real asset that gives the crypto or the fiat dollar a value. That value derives its value from that risk-weighted asset. That paper dollar is worth $1 because there is this goal behind it, or real estate behind it, or something behind it that says this is the IOU to this. These two are convertible. And that's how that works. That's what a risk-weighted asset is. Each G-SIB. Okay. Well, I do believe that's all I have today. I found some documents here and tried to convert them into English. This is as far as I had gotten. This document is Russian there. I don't know how to read this. This has to do with right here. Right here from Sberbank, according to the decree of the Government of Russia Federation, number right there. Decree of the Government of Russia Federation right there. And information letter to the Bank of Russia, number there. And Sber does not disclose in part or full the information subject to disclosure. Here's that information. I can't read it. I will put it in the link below. Here's the PDF for this here. This is also in Russian. By all means, if you guys have the time and the ability to translate that, by all means, I do appreciate you taking the time with me. I do appreciate you hearing me rave and rant. I guess not rave and rant, but pour out my heart to you and just give you insight into my life and who I am. I figure the more personable I am, the more you might want to come to my show and you share it with people. You see, I'm not some hyped up content creator, you know, whatever to the moon, XRP to the moon, XLM to the moon, none of that stuff. This is reality here, and these are real investments. I'm not trying to give anybody any hopium at all. I don't want you guys to live day to day thinking and believing that these things are going to take off tomorrow, they're going to take off in 2 days, they're going to take off in 3 days. I can tell you implementation dates in terms of ISO, which is March 2020, March 20th, 2023. In terms of implementation, I don't know how it's going to be implemented or when these things are going to take off, or if something else is going to come and keep them suppressed at a low value, because I do believe that is when they go live. And that's the low value system, not the high value system yet. It's a low value system, and the RTG, real-time payments, RTG real-time gross settlement, and then the RTP networks itself real-time payments. So you'll have that real-time money flowing across there, and I do believe they're going to be tapping into Ripple's ODL for the banks that have signed up with Ripple. And you do have banks such as the Italian bank with Algorand, and there's actually a few that have doubled up with different currencies, cryptocurrencies, and that's because they're in a consortium. For instance, like R3, you have Settle. There's one called Dragon Chain, and there's a few out there. Maybe one day I'll go deeper into that, but as for right now, this is where I want to end, and I do appreciate you guys spending time with me. This wasn't a hyped up video. It's a more educational video to let you know what's going on behind the scene and how this all affects cryptocurrency. Check you guys on the next one.
Making major moves. We going all in like we got nothing to lose. We making moves. We making major moves. We making moves.